Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For this tutorial, it is a take on a cake I previously did on one of my edible acrylic painting techniques. They wanted different colors and they wanted it out of buttercream. And they wanted 2 tiers and a different topper. So basically the whole thing is different except for the original one. This one picture here was the inspiration and it was not made with buttercream. So let's get right to it. We're going to go ahead and fill our layers. I used a thickened buttercream to dam it, and then I did cream cheese, a thin layer of cream cheese, and then some blueberry preserves. And I did that throughout this cake. You definitely want to do a thickened dam when you're dealing with jams or any kind of a thinner filling to keep it from oozing out the sides. Oozing can still happen, but a dam definitely helps prevent it. And this layer, I believe, was a chai. And then I used did I use cream cheese or just American? I think it was a cream cheese again, because chai and cream cheese would go way better. And then I popped it in the refrigerator to set up a little bit before I started with my crumb coat. A crumb coat is what's going to keep your crumbs from coming through your final layer of your buttercream. Now this layer does not have to be perfect because you're going to do another layer on top of it, but I do like to get it as good as I possibly can just to save myself some problems later, because if your layers are kind of askew or typically that's the main culprit. If your layers aren't straight up and down, it's going to be really hard to do your final coat without seeing your cake pop through this on one side or the other. So chilling is a big key to help with that also. And on this top layer, she wanted pale blush colors. So the marbling technique itself is a little harder to see. And this day the sun was really bright. So it was really hard lighting wise to not make this look kind of washed out the entire time. So please bear with me on that. And trust me that this is actually a pale blush. Now I'm just scraping in the top towards the middle to get a clean edge. And now we're going to make our toppers. They wanted a different topper. So we thought we would go with the whole geode design, and I'm using some isomalt, and I'm going to make some geodes for the toppers. Now I'm just using the directions that are on the actual isomalt bag itself. Basically, you just melt and mix, I think it's 1/4 water, 1/4 of the amount of isomalt that you use is water. So basically, if you use a cup of isomalt, you're going to use a 1/4 cup of water. Melt it until it reaches a temperature of 320 degrees. Then I poured it into a measuring cup just because I wanted the spout to do the ring of isomalt that I'm attaching my rock crystals to. Now these are just pre-bought sugar crystal or sugar rock, and I will try to find links for you guys on where you can purchase this. And I'm using the ring of isomalt as a glue to hold them together in the back. That's why I'm doing one at a time. And guys, wear gloves. Wear heat-proof gloves. I have just been doing this for so long that I know more. I have a better idea of how long to wait before you can kind of start manipulating things a little bit. If you are seasoned yourself, then you know also. But if you're a beginner, wear the gloves. And I made the second ring also, and then I'm just pouring some more isomalt over the top to glue the front part together. Now, guys, you got to move kind of quick with this, though, at the same time. Be careful not to burn yourself, but at the same time, move quick enough that your isomalt is not melting or hardening up on you. It cools really quick. Now, you can use your torch to, like I'm doing right there, to kind of soften it up again, but be careful with the rock crystals. I'm not sure what it is about these. It's probably whatever they're coated in when you get them. That will tend to turn yellow if you get it too warm. I did try to just melt the sugar crystals and do it that way. I didn't show you that footage because why? I didn't use it that way, but I'm just telling you that I did try that and it just turned like a yellow. So that didn't work. So just try not to get the pre-bought sugar rock too hot. And then to make it so that I could stick them onto the top of the cake, I'm just using skewers and some isomalt on the back. Now, if you wanted to hide those skewers, you could just add a few more rocks of their sugar rocks to the back to hide that. I don't know why I didn't do that. I'm just thinking of that right now. You could go ahead and just stick some rocks to it. And then I'm propping up the sticks so they don't fall down while that cooled, which is very quick as well. Now I'm making the paint. I'm just using Everclear. You can use vodka. You can use lemon extract. Rejuvenating spirits probably would work too. And I'm just using my toothpick to get just a little bit of color in there. I'm using pale pink and ivory. I want two different shades, one deeper than the other one, because I want a gradation of color from the center out. It's really, again, the lighting that day was so bright. You can't even really see it, but it's darker in the middle. And then I did the lighter shade around that and faded it into just the natural color. And here is the colors in the bags that I'm going to use to pipe on the cake. Again, can't see it, can you? Oh, that's frustrating. I guess you'll just have to trust me. And this cake had been chilled, and I'm just using a Dresden tool to mark out where I want to place the geode centers. This is an abstract design, so you can do them wherever you want, whatever looks good to you. I just tried to keep in mind that you need to leave enough negative space in between them to do your layers of color. And I'm just outlining each of the geode centers and then going back and filling them in with just white, because that's where the sugar crystals or the rock crystals are going to be on the cake. So this is just kind of denoting where they're going to be. And just kind of smooth it out a little bit. I was using the smaller spatula, but I needed something bigger. It's a big enough surface that I needed a bigger spatula. And then just use my scraper to finish that off. There's about 1/4 of an inch thickness there, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. Then I'm going back with my colors, starting with the darker color of pink, and then do a row of lighter pink and then white. And I just kind of alternated it like that, keeping the darker color in between the lighter colors. And I tried to make sure that I wasn't getting exactly straight lines. I was trying to mimic the look of the kind of wiggly lines that I got in the first one, because that was a totally different technique. Guys, go watch that video too if that one looks interesting. And that kind of gives you a background of why I did what I did on this one. And I'll leave a link in the description of this video to where you can find that video easily. And then I put it in the freezer for about a half an hour. That's all I did, guys, about a half an hour. And then I brought it out. You know what, let's be safe. Let's say an hour. And then I brought it out, and I'm using my scrapers to remove the layers. This is one of those things where the prize is underneath the ugliness on top. If you notice, I did smooth the entire surface before I put it in the freezer, which makes everything kind of muddy together, but that's okay because that's just on the outside, very outside. And when you scrape that away, you reveal your pretty marbling look. I don't know if it's striations, marbling. I guess when it comes to rock, striations would be a better description. And then I'm just attaching the sugar crystals, the sugar rocks, to the buttercream. Since it had been in the freezer, it's gonna get some condensation pretty quickly. And normally, guys, I know that's an annoyance to you guys, and me too. But in this case, I am using it to my benefit, because I didn't have to use anything to get these rocks to stick. I just stuck them right to the damp buttercream. I did want to use some of the smaller sugar crystals on the outside edge, you know, like the Wilton kind, because that's what I did in the original one, but we didn't have any clear. So that's okay. I just skipped that step this time. My boss didn't know that I needed that, so I didn't have it. That's okay. I'm not mad at her. It still looked really good. And then I'm just using a combination of gold luster dust and Everclear again. You can see it in the back there. That's not for my entertainment. That's for working with on my cakes. And that makes a paint that you can paint on the edge. Now you want your thickness of that to be thick enough that it doesn't drip, but not so thick that you can't, that it's clumpy. You kind of have to just experiment with it to get it to that. Oh, I don't know why I didn't edit that out. I was just making sure we were still in screen here, or in frame. Yeah, you just have to play with it to get it the right consistency. There's really no magic recipe on that. And then I'm adding some gold veins. They wanted some gold veins throughout it too, which I think really made the different shades of pink, the different colors in there kind of pop out more. Then I cut my straws all to the same length and use a little buttercream to attach the top tier to it. And now I'm filling in the gap in between the two cakes and going back with my serrated knife, and I'm carving in just a little bit on this top tier to make it look like it's kind of set in on that one, just to give it a little bit more style. I just wanted to change it up and do that. Either way would work fine. If you want to do the same thing on the top there as I did on the bottom, you can do that. That's just fine. So I'm just doing a shallow carve in there and then filling it in with some buttercream for the rocks to stick to and to hide any of those darker colors that might be in there. Make sure when you're smoothing this out that you're not smoothing it so thin that you see like the layers underneath there, because that will come through your sugar rocks also. And then just applying those, just like I did on the bottom, just inside. Now I just wanted to show you how I kind of shine up these toppers a little bit. I'm just using some just regular vegetable oil and brushing it on. It gives it some shine because those rock crystals, the store-bought kind, are kind of dull. They aren't real shiny as much as just like isomalt would be. Plus with isomalt, you can use a torch to clear it up if it does get cloudy, and that doesn't work on these. And here's our cake all put together. I hope you liked it. I hope the customer liked it, and I hope you learned something from it. I hope you got something that you can use. And we'll catch you on the next one. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch my video. And if you'd like to watch some other videos, go ahead and click on the link to one of these other videos shown here. And if you would like to check out my other social media, I am on Facebook and Instagram under the same name, Sophisticakes by Mary. And please take the time to share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you know when I upload another video. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you on the next tutorial.